All right. Let's talk about the Acolyte episode 5. Kind of late in the week here on a Friday when the episode aired on a Tuesday, but I didn't really get the chance early in the week to talk about it. But I actually really wanted to talk about this episode because I thought this episode was pretty good. And that's coming out for the first 4 episodes, which I thought were just okay. And even last week's episode, which I think got better, but I was kind of mad at where it ended when we see who we know is Keimer now. But just like force push all the Jedi back, and it just cut off right there. It's just like, okay, we're gonna leave off at that cliffhanger, which I didn't really like, and I just didn't feel like reviewing last week's episode because it didn't feel like a complete episode. In fact, I think that episode, like episode 4 and episode 5, this should have been together as one episode because both episodes are pretty short, and I think it probably would have added to around 40 minutes, like 45 minutes in total. I'm not sure how long the last episode was, but I know the episode 5 was some like 26 minutes or something like that, which feels or kind of sounds short, but it actually felt not quite as short because I thought this episode 5 was really good with the action in it. And yeah, I mentioned Keimer. Keimer is the baddie in this series, and it was predictable. It was definitely predictable, but that doesn't mean it's bad. Like I don't always think predictable is bad. Like sometimes if it's poorly written, it's bad, or even poorly acted by the person who's the villain. But I gotta say, Manny Jacinto, I think he actually knocked this episode out of the park as far as like being very villainous in this episode. Because I thought he pulled it off. I thought he was the reason. His acting was the reason that I think Keimer was a good villain, and that him being predictable didn't really bother me. So I thought he was good, especially after he killed Jackie, Daphne Keene's character, who I liked in this series. But yeah, after he killed her, he was talking to Soul, and he was like, "Oh, that's its name." Man, I was like, "Fuck you, fuck you up on to beat your ass." Yeah, I would have got like my neck snapped by like Yord did. But yeah, Jackie and Yord getting killed off like that, I was like, wow. And even like the other Jedi, like the no-name Jedi who you knew were gonna get killed off in the episode. Some of those kills were pretty good at the start of the episode. Like he had one Jedi get like stabbed, and then Keimer, he just like force tugs or force pulls the other Jedi and pretty much has them on his lightsaber like a kebab. So yeah, it was like some good kills and some really good action. Like at least in my opinion, I thought it were really good action. And yeah, the fight between him and Jackie, Keimer and Jackie, I thought it was pretty good. And man, when she got like those like blades through her like 3 times, like 3 blades through her at the same time, I was like, man. I was like, why? Why'd you take her away? Yeah, because I liked her character, and I kind of felt she might die in that moment. Or I was kind of hoping maybe he would just push her against a tree or whatever, force push her against a tree and knock her out. But yeah, he killed her, or at least it looks like she's dead. Like you can hold out and hope that she's not dead, and maybe the blades. I missed like the other parts, like the critical parts of her body. But yeah, I think 3 blades. 3 blades is pretty much gonna kill anybody. Like I don't think even Rey, where they're force healing from Rise of Skywalker, can bring her back. So yeah, so Jackie, she's dead, and Yord getting his neck snapped. I was like, man, that was brutal. And I didn't even really care about his character that much, but giving him a brutal death like that just made me say, damn, you did him like that. And even like Oja got him killed. Oja got him killed by having them go back in there and killed Yord. So yeah, pretty much all the Jedi other than Soul and Osha. Like, I don't even know if Osha's going to fight with a lightsaber in this series. So yeah, Osha and May there. And there's some like writing that's not so good. Like you have Ocean May, or more, I guess, more specifically May, because we saw at the end of the last episode that she wanted to turn herself in, or she was prepared to turn herself in. And then in this episode, she's like, yeah, she's not going to turn herself in anymore. She's like, yeah, I'm going to knock out Soul whenever. But I don't know. I think it's bad writing right there. But I can also see where that's her only option at the end of the last episode. And with Keimer coming in and like messing things up over there, yeah, she was like, okay, I have other options now. I could do this. So yeah, Ocean and May together at the end of the episode. I'm interested to see where their story goes with the full backstory that we're probably going to get in another flashback episode in one of the remaining 3 episodes. But I'm not too wrapped up in the two twins, in their characters. Like I like Amanda Stenberg. She's a good actress. I think she's doing well enough in here. I just think the writing with the two characters is not the best. But maybe these 3 episodes can pull it along and finish off their characters' arcs well. But yeah, we'll see. But yeah, Soul has definitely been the best character so far in the series, played by Lee Jung Jae. And yeah, his fight with Keimer I thought was pretty cool. And yeah, he had him beat. And he was like, yeah, or OSHA came in, or was it OSHA or May? I think, yeah, it was OSHA. And then May stunned him and knocked him out. So yeah, we'll see where that goes. I mean, Soul doesn't seem like he's clean. Like we saw what Keimer kind of was talking to him right after they got done fighting, and Soul had him beat. So yeah, he's not clean, but I appreciate that they're showing the Jedi as being flawed. They're not showing them as being like bad in general, but they're definitely flawed, and that makes the Jedi more relatable. And yeah, we're probably gonna see another flashback episode and seeing what actually happened to the witches and what I guess Trinity or Indara, the Wookiee, Salnaka, and then what was his name? What was his name with the beard who played Torbid? He played Tommen in Game of Thrones. I think it was Torbid. And Soul. We're going to see what they did. We're going to see what they did with these witches because, yeah, I don't think they all died from that fire in that previous flashback episode. So, yeah, and I got a feeling all the Jedi in here are probably going to end up dying. Like, I got a feeling Soul's going to end up dying. He's probably going to sacrifice himself. And Keimer, yeah, we'll see where Keimer goes. And also speaking about the Sith, because Keimer says, some of you Jedi, or some of you may call me Sith, which people are taking issue about the Sith being out in public at this time, because at this time it wasn't supposed to be, they weren't supposed to be out. They're supposed to be still in hiding. And I don't have that much of a problem with this. Like, I'm a big Star Wars fan, but yeah, I just don't really have a big problem with it. But I understand why other Star Wars fans might have a problem with it, because there are specific things that I have a problem with. Like going back to Obi-Wan with the Grand Inquisitor, which is spoilers for Obi-Wan and Star Wars Rebels. But we saw, I think in the second episode of Obi-Wan, we saw the Grand Inquisitor, or we saw what looked like him dying. And at that moment, I was not about that. I was a little mad. Like, I wasn't mad, but I was just kind of bothered by that because we saw him die in Rebels. But then later on in, I think, episode 5, he comes back. So, yeah, I was like, crisis averted there. But yeah, I understand, because at that moment, I was kind of bothered by that. And also, we saw people getting bothered by Ki-Adi-Mundi being here, which I don't have a problem with either, because I think his birthday was in a Legends novel or something like that, which I don't really care. They're not really canon anymore. And even if it was canon and they were retconning it, I'd be like, okay, whatever. I don't care. But Ki-Adi-Mundi in Attack of the Clones or Phantom Menace said the Sith haven't been around for years. So I don't know. Maybe he hasn't heard of the Sith. Everyone's gonna die. All these Jedi are probably gonna die, and he's not even gonna hear about it, or they're gonna keep it secret or something like that. I don't know. I'm putting it out there like that. I'm putting those are my theories of what's gonna happen, I guess. But we'll see. But yeah, I thought this episode of The Acolyte, episode 5, I thought it was pretty good. I would say the show as a whole is still okay. I would say maybe the first 4 episodes were kind of at a 6.5 out of 10 for me. And with this 5th episode, it kind of bumps it up to a 7 out of 10. So we'll see where these next 3 episodes go, because if the next 3 episodes aren't that good or just are okay, like the first 4 episodes, then it's going to bump it down for me. But if it gets better, that could probably bump it up to an 8 or something like that. So hopefully it stays on target and it's just as good as this 5th episode was. So give me your thoughts on episode 5 of The Acolyte. What were your thoughts on it? And what are your thoughts on the series as a whole so far if you're watching it? And yeah, till next time, I'll see y'all later. Rebel out.